Hey.
Hey.
Is it me? Or could it be somebody else?
What?
Pretending to be me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with
I'm
that
a little
now.
surprised it took you a while to get that, to be honest.
I mean, it was weird.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it was
speaking
weird.
of weird,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
We are talking about The Summer Hikaru Died.
Yeah, so this is one of those big Netflix anime of the year.
Mhm.
It's been getting really good reviews, and we wanted to wait until the whole thing was finished to watch. And we did. So now we shall review.
We shall.
So one of the things I really like about this is it's based on a web manga from an author that nobody knows who they are.
It's kind of like the author of Death Note.
Exactly. I love these authors that, like, we have no clue. They're always referred to as they.
Mhm.
They showed up at Anime Expo 2025 for a panel for this with, like, a cube mask and, like, a cloak on.
That's amazing.
It's so cool. So how would you describe this show? Because for me, I'm not sure how to describe it.
I mean, I gotta go with the way that it's been described on the
Mhm.
internet, like the simple way of it's a coming of age horror.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drama. It's a lot
Yes.
of getting to know your characters with a lot of creepy, weird stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Mystery and relationships building and developing in interesting ways.
Yeah, I think that's a great description. I mean, honestly, it is very much a mystery. It is very creepy and weird, but there's times when, like, there's so much interpersonal relationship stuff,
Yeah.
you almost, like, forget there's a threat.
Yeah.
And then something happens and you're like, ah!
Yeah.
Which I think is, like, really cool because a lot of the show is it feels very safe until it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that sort of was difficult for me at first because I'm so used to the shonen playbook at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, pure main character in a
Action
world,
all the time.
action all the time. They're always getting better. They're always getting cooler.
Yeah.
This show is nothing to do with that.
No.
It's as if Parasite doesn't have really the battle elements that
Right.
it has. It actually kind of reminds me of some movies we've seen, like, what was the one with Scarlett Johansson? The one where she, played the alien. Yeah, and it was
Can't remember what that's
I can't remember what it's called
but
either. I'll put up a poster
really
for
cool.
it. It's interesting and it's dramatic.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Parasite. There's also things in it that remind me of another anime that we recently talked about, Takapi's Original Sin.
Yeah, it is a bit
there's
like
a lot of talking in that, a lot of character development, a lot of crazy things happen, but it's interspersed with all of that real, like, drama that's going on. And I think, it's such a fascinating show, and like you said, so different from so many of the things that we've watched recently.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
It was really good, and the animation is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a movie. I mean, most of the time watching the show, I feel like I was like, this could have been a movie, but there's, like, too much story for it to be a movie, but the look of it is so great. And there's so many scenes of, like, Hikaru and Yoshiki. They're, like, at the beach or eating watermelon in summer, or they're riding their bikes, or they're in the classroom. And it just, like, it has these really amazing slice of life elements, and then it gets, like, insane.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like,
There's crazy spirits.
there's like the bent head lady in the woods. Or, one friend has his hand through the chest cavity of the other friend, like it's some kind of crazy Cronenberg movie.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Basics are like, there's these two friends that have grown up in this small town in rural Japan, Hikaru and Yoshiki. And one summer, Hikaru has to run up to this mountain that everyone says stay away from it because there's, like, bad stuff going on up there. And he dies. Yeah. And then he comes back and he is changed. And it's, like, sort of like, is it body snatchers? Is it the thing? Like, what's going on? Like, what is this thing that's inhabited him? It doesn't look like an alien. It doesn't look like a ghost. It's got this crazy sort of lava lamp thing going on.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
It's really beautiful, and it's scary, but it's interesting. It's got, like, a Miyazaki theme to it, almost.
One of the things that I love, though, is that, it's... The show sort of starts, 6 months after this happened.
Yeah.
And so Yoshiki has, for that whole time, realized that something's not right with his friend.
Yeah.
And doesn't mention anything until that first episode 6 months after it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it is really interesting. And like, so much of the show is really their relationship, is really the fact that, like, they've been best friends for their whole life. They're very codependent. Yoshiki, he's kind of got a crush on Hikaru.
Yeah.
And he knows that it's not Hikaru, but he also, like, doesn't want Hikaru to not be there in his life. And that's a lot of the conflict in this, along with the fact that Hikaru has now been taken over by a thing that does not really understand the value of human life.
There's also just sort of stuff about, like, identity, about, like, figuring out who you are, which, you know, is just such a general theme in coming-of-age stories.
Oh, for
it's such an important thing to those stories, but taken to a whole different level. And this new Hikaru trying to figure out who and what he is again, another fascinating aspect to it.
It is.
There's also just other really cool characters. One of them is just a housewife and mom.
That's a medium.
That's a medium.
Yeah.
And, another one is this guy.
She, by the way, is like probably my favorite character because, much like myself, she's always looking for a good snack. She's always looking for an excuse to have the new dessert at the diner.
There's another character that is this guy that's always going around. He's got sunglasses and a hamster.
Yeah, he's very cool. He's got that sort of like low rent Gojo. Like he's cool, but he's also maybe kind of homeless, and we're not exactly sure.
He keeps on talking about how he works for the company.
Yeah.
And he keeps on getting these calls from this lady who he works for.
I think, you know, it took me a few episodes to get into this because I realized that it is so unconventional. Hikaru, he's like all this weird stuff, and this guy shows up in town working for the company. There's other kind of ghosts and stuff going on. So I'm like, oh, this is going to turn into Jujutsu Kaisen. This is going to turn into Lord of Mysteries. It becomes like a traditional, like, now we're going to fight the monster.
Either that or it becomes a more like traditional, just straight up mystery. You know, where it really hits hard on the mystery or sci-fi or paranormal element.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really do that. I think the coming of age story is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Even though Hikaru isn't Hikaru, it's still sort of a coming of age with him as well. It's a slow moving show.
Yeah, it is.
A lot more slow moving than things we're used to, but in a proper way. Like it needs to be to really get these things across. For me, I was into it from episode one. I found everything so fascinating. I think the way that the mysteries have sort of like been wound up. I just found it really, really great the way that they sort of slow rolled everything, but gave you enough every episode to be like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's the what else weird is gonna come out of this? When oh my god, the wig ghost and the
wig ghost was amazing.
And how Yoshiki and Hikaru deal with these things, and what characters even see the spirits and the ghosts and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, totally. The hamster.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the hamster's amazing.
Yeah.
I also really like the rural setting. Like almost nothing we watch has a rural setting. Almost every anime is either in a fantasy world or like a city.
Yeah.
So to have this kind of sleepy town with a secret, it's funny. It almost reminded me of the first few episodes of Dandadan in a way. But Dandadan, it's funny. When I was watching this, I was like, yeah, this show's like Dandadan, but not at all. Because it's got like the high school thing, it's got the mystery thing, but Dandadan is so like contemporary in how extra it is. Where this show is, like you said, it takes its time. It's really about the emotional conflict as much as it's Ghostbusting time. I also like New Hikaru. I like that you really don't know what he's going to do, if he's going to be violent, if he's going to, everyone is always somehow not in danger and very in danger all the time when he's on screen. And there's elements of him too that I love his vibe. I love his voice. The voice actor I thought was great. Yeah. I love when his pupil goes red and it's he is a monster. Watch out. I don't know. I just thought it was a really fascinating, cool show in an era where there's so much isekai or battle shonen. This is just it's funny. I want to say it feels like an older show, but it doesn't.
No.
It's just its own thing.
It really is. Yeah, the first season, it's only 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It leaves off in a good place to leave off, but at the same time, I was like, oh man, why isn't there more?
I know.
Is there a core two?
And, one of the episodes, 6th or 7th episode, is one of the best episodes of anime I've seen all year.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just a fascinating show. There is this really interesting mystery going on.
Well, there's crazy stuff happening in the town, and like apparently there's been crazy stuff happening in the town for a very long time. There's this group of old men that are like that are also kind of creepy, that like know stuff, but also are hiding stuff. And Hikaru's family like is involved in different ways with stuff, and again, so many mysteries and so many things that I look forward to seeing what more is revealed next season.
Oh, 100%. If you're looking for a cool show that has horror elements, has slice of life, coming of age elements, it's a really cool show.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, well, The Summer Hikaru Died is on Netflix. All 12 episodes are up, so you should check it out. Thanks so much. Let us know down below what your favorite scary anime is. Woo! All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Bye!